Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here to talk to you about Nanatsu no Taizai, manga chapter 326, titled The Seven Deadly Sins versus the Demon Lord. And yes, I am wearing a One Piece themed hoodie. Why? They both got numbers in it. That's a close connection enough. But anyway, when it comes to this chapter, as a fan of Diane, this is a great chapter. Only because, well, not only, but mainly because it has a strong focus on Diane and her character, as well as, yeah, that's basically it. I am a big fan of Diane. I enjoy the fact that she's a giant. Realistically speaking, I enjoy her more in her giant state than I do her human state. But that's just because it provides a little bit of more uniqueness to the Seven Deadly Sins. But when it comes to this chapter, I think it's a very good chapter, in all honesty. And to show how great this chapter is, there's a cover page of Diane in her what appears to be somewhat of a like a nice torn up dress. We've never really seen it within the series, but it's a nice looking dress, and it really shows off her best qualities. The fact that she's a warrior and the fact that she likes to dance, obviously. But besides that, the first actual scene that we see is basically the Demon King thinking to himself, Mother Creation, because in the last chapter, and due to a few translation errors, and also because this isn't official, they changed it to Mother Creation, which in reality is probably a better name and is more in line with what happens in this chapter and what Diane actually does, which is she summons the earth. Like there's no real way to like understand exactly what it is, but what she basically does is that she obviously does the dance, and the more she dances, the more connection she has to the earth. And there are just a few scenes of her dancing and a very tasteful shot of her back. Anyway, basically, it's a gradual shift in perception of the land, where you have them all in the lake, and then you just see the rocks around it start to crack. And the further you get away from the lake, the more cracks that form. And then, within an instant, the lake just falls. Like, the earth around the lake, as well as the earth in the surrounding area, just immediately shoot up into the air, and the water just falls, and it's just like pure and utter destruction that occurs. And as Diane is still swinging her giant hammer, she throws basically rocks at the Demon King, and the Demon King is just basically like, you think that, you insignificant woman, you think that you can handle me? And then immediately after he starts thinking this, and like thinking like, oh yeah, you're so insignificant, he gets hit in the back by the rocks, by more rocks. And then he basically commented, it's like, you're nothing but a giant girl. And Diane just like says, yeah, that's right. And she basically goes on like a small speech, just like, yeah. At first I was just a lonely girl who like didn't like to fight, but that's different. Like with the Seven Deadly Sins, and like she basically says she's a new person, and then she talks about like the Seven Deadly Sins and everyone that she cares about. Before that, the Demon King realizes what she's doing, because like the reason why like it does that like offset of the earth and why the water falls is because the Demon King is getting magical power from the lake. And by getting rid of the lake, you basically get rid of his infinite source of power. So he's like, oh, you think you're going to take... The Demon King is just cocky. He's like, oh, you think you're going to take the lake away from me? I don't think so. And Diane just sends an entire army of just rocks and destruction towards him. And even though, yes, he can counter it, there's so much of it that it will, like, theoretically, he can counter most of it, but he can't counter all of it. So he's still going to get pushed. And this is when Diane, she talks about the Seven Deadly Sins, Elizabeth, Elaine, Hawk, and she specifically calls out King for protecting him, and that she will always be there for her. And the King's like, Diane. And then he's like, the Demon King is also like, yo, what the heck are you talking about? You can never defeat me. And Meliodas just has like the snarkiest line, is like, can't you see yeah, Diane's the type of girl that if you make her mad, she's gonna mess you up 12 ways to Sunday. And it's like, you should be afraid to get on her bad side. And like Diane just just looks at Elizabeth and the captain is just like, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, captain. And she finally confirms the fact that she is the queen of the giants, which ties to the fact that King is king of the fairies, she's queen of the giants, and that this is something that was like given to her by Dromdal, of like, who basically like gave her like the power boost. It's like, yo, I can't lose. And then she just goes to like this just more like, and just like, and also she establishes why she can't lose is because of her dream with King. And it seems like she's like feeling weakened from like all of this power just going all at once, because she's basically summoning the continent to attack the Demon King. And like, while all of this is happening, Bond just makes a snarky remark while he's seeing this, like, hey, you're gonna let your girl talk? Are you gonna let your girl say all of this? Aren't you gonna say something? And King, in the best way possible, just like, Diane, when we win, don't waste your time. Just let's get this over with, because as soon as you do that, oh goodness, as soon as you do that, we're gonna get married. And immediately, oh gosh, immediately, sorry about that, just ignore the blue light. Hey, I'm Big Blue Drew. Yeah, I totally did this on purpose. But yeah, primarily what happens is that Diane, she begins to blush, and as soon as she does that, she just summons like this immediate burst of power to basically push the Demon King. Oh wow, that was weird. Push the Demon King upward, and then all of a sudden, like, the land around her starts to reform, and it's like, okay, the Demon King then thinks to himself, like, where are we? What is going on? And yeah, she basically makes a sky island. Like, after she sends the Demon King up and makes a sky island, because you see, like, and like the Demon King's like, where are we? And Meliodas, as being the snarky man that he is, he says, this is your final resting place. And then you have all the 7 deadly sins together, just about to wreck house. And they said that they're about to launch your mission to defeat the Demon King. And I'm like, yes. And the Demon King just standing there, just thinking like, yo, you have made me mad for the last time. I am about to spank you, son, is the look on his face. And then Meliodas establishes once again that, hey, you cannot replenish your magic power because you're no longer on the lake, because we are on a literal, like, island. It's like the island is suspended by, if I count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I thought it was, 2, 4, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, I was right. No, I know. It's suspended by, like, basically, like, 7 pillars. 7 pillars. The 7 deadly sins. They're like the strongest in the land correlation, and yeah, it's symbolism is basically what it is. And you would think that, oh, how can they ever end this chapter? Like, in this chapter, they isolated the Demon King from the land. They are all together. Like, what else? And they're all extremely powerful. Like, how can you make this situation worse for the Demon King? Wait, I forgot. What time is it? Oh yeah, it's high noon. So yes, Escanor is also in his high noon state, and Escanor, he looks like more terrifying than Demon King. He has this smile, just like, he's like, I'm about to kill a Demon King type of look, and it's very awesome. If anything, this chapter is great for Diane and Escanor's one face of, yeah. So yeah, and that's basically how the chapter ends. So, all in all, like I said, I thought this was a really good chapter. In comparison to the chapters that we've had previously, I think it was very good, and I think it's because we focused on Diane as a character, because when it comes to Seven Deadly Sins, I think her along with King and as well as Meliodas have gone through like the most changes. I think Diane might have had like the most growth among all of them, so I think that's why I enjoyed this chapter a lot. Why I think when it focuses on in this chapter was really good. It focuses on Diane. It focuses on like one of her traits. It's like, yo, I've always protected my friends. But it also focuses on like, but she also has found love through King, and that she would do anything to protect not just her friends, but also the one that she loves in King. And how King reciprocates that by saying, when this is all over, I'm going to marry you. That just gives her the boost that she needs, even though she's blushing, to basically finish what she started, which is to separate the Demon King from his power source, which she does successfully. And it makes sense for how it is done. It's like, it's not something like much of like, oh no, this doesn't make sense, because she has always been able to like destroy like large amounts of like land and reform it, and this just applies to that. And it just so happens that lakes are surrounded by land, both on the sides and below. So it makes sense, as well as the fact that during all this time it happens, it's about to be high noon. So it's basically establishing everything that needs to be done to show off how powerful each of the sins are. And I think that within this final fight, we're going to see like the pinnacle of their, like the sins. We're going to see the pinnacle of Escanor, which is high noon. We've seen the pinnacle of Diane. We're going to see the pinnacle of Meliodas' wrath. King's probably going to see all of his like his treasure, all 7 configurations, or as I think of it, conflagrations, because I can't speak English. We're going to see the infinity magic from Merlin, hopefully, and we're going to see possibly more of oh my goodness, I forgot. We may see, I think we kind of know the final technique of, I forgot his name, of oh my gosh, Gother, there he is. I thought I didn't look it up. Yeah, Gother, we will hopefully see him. And like we also, but I don't think that we're gonna see that in the next chapter. If anything, we may cut back to Zeldatros, or we may actually see the 7 deadly sins go in on the Demon King. If we do see that, that would be amazing, because 7 deadly sins does action like fairly well. So, and I really, even the action in this chapter, I thought was really good. Probably better than like what we've seen in the past like 2 or 3 chapters. So overall, I actually give this more of a 4.5. And that's mainly because of my biases and love of Diane as a character, a part of the 7 deadly sins. Like, realistically, she's my favorite character. I really enjoy her in the story. And her personalities, all of them. But anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry it's coming out a little late because the chapter came out a little bit later. Hopefully it'll come out on time on Tuesday. And hopefully I may have, My Hero may come out tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. It could come out tomorrow, so you could get like 2 videos back to back, which is fine by me because these are just simple videos, but hopefully I can get more of a greater camera quality than just recording on my phone, because it is recording on my phone and I can't do all of these motions because you can't really see them because I like to speak with my hands. But all in all, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye for now. Ooh.